It's all about wicked noise, isn't it? Or is it? We're at Milltek Sport. We're going to find out a bit more. I'm here with Phil Millington from Milltek Sport, one of the UK's largest exhaust manufacturers, to find out why anybody want to change their exhaust. Phil, why would they do it?
3 reasons mainly: performance, sound and styling, to change those 3 basic commodities.
So, performance. How are we getting performance out of adding exhaust onto a car?
Well, basically what we're going to do is increase the airflow through the exhaust, or in technical terms, reduce the back pressure.
Right, you say back pressure, you're talking about where literally the power of the engine is being restricted because the exhaust is not allowing the gases to move out fast enough?
Correct. The volume of the exhaust system creates a back pressure that doesn't allow the engine to evacuate its gas fast enough. By speeding up the gas flow, you speed up the efficiency of the engine.
So that's power and performance. What about sound? I mean, are we trying to get a race car sound out of these exhausts? What do people want to get?
We're certainly trying to improve the quality of sound. Because we've got larger bore pipes, we're actually lowering the tone, as in getting a deeper note to the exhaust. And a deeper note is a sexier note, which is more attractive, it's easy to live with, the car sounds more muscular, it sounds more powerful, which is actually what people want it to sound like.
I say quality of noise, so there's such a thing as bad quality sound here.
There definitely is. A high-pitched sound is a nuisance sound. A high-pitched sound will probably get into the cabin, create pressure inside the cabin, and that's what we call resonance.
So that's when you can feel in the car this sort of like drumming noise in the back of your skull.
Absolutely right.
That's a bad exhaust then.
It will give you a headache on a long motorway journey. It really is going away from the real reason that people are buying performance exhaust.
So you want it to sound like a sports car from outside, but not actually make you deaf inside?
Absolutely right.
That sounds like a tough thing to do with a bit of pipe.
It certainly isn't something you can do in 5 minutes, and that's why our development times vary from 6 to 7 working days up to 9 months until we find that quality of sound that we're really looking for.
Phil, the final aspect you mentioned was styling. Now obviously you can't do a one tip or one exhaust for everybody. How do you deal with that kind of issue?
Certainly different car makes demand different styles. We're trying to go in harmony with the original style of the car, but we will do large tips where some of those cars demand that type of large, round, oval, open cut. There are so many different finishes that you can end up with on a tip. We have to try and keep it in harmony with the car.
So try and keep in tune with the car, but a little extra styling to obviously show, you know, I've got something special under here.
Absolutely right. Special is a very good word, that it actually looks slightly different, but it's not standing at you and staring you in the face like it's shouting all the time.
So changing the exhaust will give us power, it will give us sound, and it'll give us some styling. So tell me, how do we turn this into this?
Let's go over to the factory and have a look.
Here on Play School, Ultimate Car Tuning, we can't resist a good montage of some factory footage of bits of metal being bent into some pretty shapes. And this week, we have the lovely Dave Marshall of Milltek here to talk us through it.
Dave, talk us through the process.
Well, the process starts with the tube. The tube's cut to the desired length, it's then bent to the shape required. After bending, it's checked on a CMM machine to make sure it's the right shape. It then has the excess material cut off and goes through the various finishing processes, for example, deburring, washing, end forming. A similar process starts with the sheet, in that the sheet is guillotined to size, rolled to the required section, welded, and has the internals put in to make it into a silencer. At that point, you've got bent tube and a silencer. You add additional parts like brackets, flanges, and it then goes onto the welding bench as a kit of parts and gets welded into the finished item.
So Phil, after that we end up with our style, we get our performance, we get our sound. All sounds very straightforward.
And of course it is in reality when you have a factory, but we have our large bore pipes for increased gas flow, we have bigger pipes and bigger silencers for control of sound, and we have style tips for the individual styling at the end of the system, and that's what makes up a Milltek Sport exhaust.
Job done.
Absolutely.